but you can see the Maurizio imprint. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you are all well. So I got some sleep last night.
I'm
Um,
glad you got some sleep last night. No, I did too. I
yeah.
did too. I actually got a sleep. I got good sleep last night.
So I'm gonna do a couple of exciting things. All right. So let me lower this down. Okay. So cheats never prosper. Okay. If you cheat, you might have a couple of wins, but eventually you won't get there in the end. So if you say to the AI, just do this for me, then the AI won't be able to do it. Okay. So you need to bring some of your own experience to it. Now I'm using the Claude Chrome add-on here, right? It's in beta and it crashes your Google Chrome all the time. Okay. But it is an incredible piece of kit as it's building out. Okay. So what I do here is I talk with it about this open interest. I have a backwards and forwards conversation with it. So I'll come here and I'll be like, right, okay then.
That's
So I'm
great. I hope
okay.
I'm right at some stage.
So I'm just showing how you can use the AI for your advantage. So the idea is that you would come in and you would look at this chart and you would think about how Maurizio's explained this chart. You would use the open interest chart that's in the welcome post that tells you how to interpret if price is up and interest is down and CVD down. What does that generally mean? So you've already got this information yourself. And with Claude, you can have kind of a back and forth. Now, let's say that you were going through your watch list and you wanted to get a rundown on all of these. Well, the idea of this web clipper when it's out of beta is that it's a gopher. It goes around the web and it does tasks for you. So I can say to this, starting with BTC, analyze the chart, then click the next favorite down, analyze that, complete all of the analysis, and then give it to me in one long kind of separate report. Okay. Now, that's only any good if you actually read what it gives you. Okay. But you can just do that. You can just bang it into Claude. You can bang a chart in Claude, but you won't quite get where you want to get. Okay. It was important that I shared that with you so as not to try and blag you. Oh yeah, I know the open interest inside and out. So I'll actually park it there and let Maurizio go through the open interest, right? Because
But
oh, hang
but
on.
I wanna know your experience. Like, what did you learn? Like, in terms of, because at the end of the day, you want to use AI to make decisions, right? About
Mhm.
should we enter, should we not enter, or where. After you did that, what's your decision there, or what do you learn about Bitcoin, of what's happening right now? Because this is interesting. This is a very
Mm.
interesting moment of what's going on at the moment. So, any
It
insights that you
it
got out of it?
well, this is the thing, Maurizio, right? If I hadn't have showed you this, I
Yep,
wouldn't have been able to blag and blunder my way through this. And I've only actually done this 5 minutes ago. So I
got
haven't
it. Okay.
actually studied the Bitcoin chart. However, the methodology of using
Mm-hmm.
Claude as an interrogation partner. So it's not, hey, Claude, tell me about CVD. It's
Yeah.
because I use this Whisper app, so well, you won't be
Yep.
able to
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
that. Yeah, right. So then
Yeah.
I'd be like, right, okay, the CVD then on the 30-minute, and then I would just talk through what I'm seeing
Hmm.
and then get like an individual response from it and build it out over there. So you can assess this in 5 minutes. It would take me maybe 30 minutes to thoroughly investigate and backward and forth what's actually happening with the open interest because it's like I understand like the
Yeah.
CVD does this, but
Yeah.
I don't intimately understand it yet. But this is how you get there.
Got it. No, that this is great, and this is great for you guys to understand. Even me, I use Claude. I use every single AI thing there. I have a lot of research agents that does a lot of work for me in terms of finding things on X, finding new tokens, finding new things. So I think it's great. You know what I mean? And Yeah, Todd, I'm going to talk about that because yeah, this is, the new Opus 4.8 is the new model for Anthropic. Is really is very interesting, very powerful. Um, and yeah, thanks to that crash, and not crash sec, but they found a vulnerability. I'm gonna talk about it. Like that's part of
Nice.
the what I'm gonna talk about today. So this is just to open up and to see all the risks that are out there now with AI, risk and opportunities, right? Because obviously, Opus, and this is Opus just as the model that you and me get. Remember that Claude has Mythos, right? The super hyper fucking model that no one has access except and that could fucking break crypto, period. Or open vulnerabilities, call it that way, right? Like either way. Or it break any market, not only crypto. It could break any financial institution. It could break anything.
Mm.
So, so,
But
so we're
these are
getting
narratives that we can cash in on Maurizio because a narrative I keep
definitely,
seeing popping up at the moment more and more is that we're closer to quantum computing, and quantum computing is going to crack all the codes that have always been uncrackable. So that
yeah.
immediately says there's an opportunity in security.
Oh, definitely, definitely. It's just is how do you capitalize on it, right? So there's several ways. Unfortunately, I wasn't around when the news happened about SEC. I would have showed the shit out of that shit. But it took like I gotta go through it, and that's how you capitalize, but you need to be quick, right? SEC went down fucking 50 something percent in a couple of hours. So um and then it's now recovering, right? But well, yeah, we're gonna talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
we'll get to that. Okay.
But this is
So
interesting. Thanks, Ian. Awesome. That's. I'm not using the Claude browser yet. I use all these tools. I use this. I use
it's
another one that is called Versal Browser. It's fucking amazing.
yeah, it's too
And
unstable at the moment.
yeah,
It
yeah,
crashes your Chrome far too often. It needs to be sandboxed or just basic. I mean, even with that basic task, it can get stuck. But
yeah.
anyway, right. So I've a little bit on the price action, Maurizio, and then
Let's go
we'll
through
hand
it.
over to
Yeah,
you. Okay. So I've got three lines marked up here. The 82,500 ceiling, which
yeah,
you could dig into further and you could put it with far more confluence, that ceiling. But I've got EMAs coming out my ass at the moment, so I've just dropped all of that stuff for now. We got an 82,500 known
yeah.
ceiling. We've got the 2024 all-time highs and the 2021 all-time highs. Okay.
Yep,
So if we look back to March of 2024, well, we spent about 250, 260 days underneath that 2021 all-time high.
yep,
Okay. Then we got a retest and we got a blast off. We came down, retested that 82, blast off again. And then here we are back at the 82, which we
yep,
then lost, crashing through the 24 and the 21 all-time highs. We had what some people call a double bottom, which is interesting because that is a one-to-one measured movement, that distance, which is really quite interesting. The geeks can get their fibs out and do it. But we came to that ceiling, right? Bang. There's not even a wick over that
I
82,
know. We
500.
we talked about it several fucking
Mm-hmm.
times, man, for the last couple of weeks, right? And we were saying like we're just very apprehensive of going holy nuts in longs,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so obviously this played out to the T. Unfortunately, it didn't take any shorts. I'm still biased long. I'm gonna tell you why, but yeah, we did talk about it. That we did talk about it several times on that sort of
Yeah.
yeah,
We got that little wick, right?
yeah,
And then we got what's been a comprehensive rejection from that line. We've crashed through the 24 and we've crashed through the 21. So what's interesting is here we're off to the races. Now it's back as a support. An
yeah,
old support has flipped to a resistance. That
yep,
is cha-ching bullish. That's our first marker for bullish, okay?
yeah,
So now, where's it going to go from now? Well, we can already see that that wick there was lower than that wick there, which I'll just
Yeah,
phrase as interesting, okay? But we can see that the bulls are trying to get a bounce. They're trying for some kind of relief. I know that the candle close is not in yet. So
yep,
I believe that we're going to get a bounce. It's just going to
yep,
be how hard is that bounce going to be? Because we are weakening and weakening and
yeah,
weakening and weakening. So let's say that we went up to 82, 200, okay? We would still print a new lower high.
yep, yep,
So
yep,
82, 499. Let's say
yep,
that's our ceiling. Do I think that we can bounce from there to there? I would give
yep,
that 15 to 20%. At the
yep,
very most, we could make it all the way to there. Can we get back here? Probably. Probably,
yep,
yes. Can we get here? That would be a big one because recapturing these, which takes fucking weeks, recapture,
yeah,
retest, move on. It's a 3 week period each time. Or are we just going to run out of fizz? So
yeah,
I think I've kind of got the body of what's going on, but this is where
yep.
I hand the nuclear football to you.
And this is great. The only thing that I will add is on every single line that you put in there, right?
Mhm.
Unfortunately, we don't know what's going to happen. So what I usually do is when the market is on those sort of areas, then you go and look for your CVD, for your open interest to see what's the reaction there. I cannot actually say for sure we're going to break the 69,000 level. I don't know because when the
Mhm.
market gets there, it's going to be decided. You know what I mean? Like that's why
Mhm.
it's going to be decided. So that's something that is out of my head to guess. We might do this, we might do that. For the time being, I'm only guessing what's the reaction at the 60,000 level. I'm going to go through it, right?
Mhm.
Once we get to the 70, 69, who the fuck knows? Is it going to be more shorts that are open? Is it going to be more longs that are going to be open? Is it
Mhm.
a fucking what is his name? Trump is going to say he's going to save the world. He's going to open another fucking war with I don't know another country. Who the fuck knows, right? So at
A
that
moon
level,
base.
unfortunately, unfortunately, when crypto because we are serving a very sort of ranging market, very awful, right? So those levels are very important because that you don't know what's going to happen. Is this another
Mm,
short?
mm,
Is this
mm.
another leg down? Is this another leg up? I don't know, man. Like to be honest, I don't know, and
Yeah,
that's where
no.
everybody's at. So this is the time where you actually, unfortunately, have to visit the market more times, even if you don't make any trades. You just have to like this is when I spend most of the time, to be honest. Like when we hit the bull run, it's gonna be very easy to fucking ride, right? But until then, which we don't know when is going to get here, right? Then this is the timing when I actually look at the market more often. Why? Because these are intrinsic points, I call it, right? Like uh you have levels that everybody's watching. Everybody, every big investor, ETF, everybody's watching the 60,000 level. You and me, everybody knows. Everybody's watching those 60, 69 or 79 or 82,000 level. There is important information there. So so what's going to happen on those levels is going to be crucial to see if the market is going to have continuation or not. If you scalp, like Mr. Todd, I think you know he's locked in and he can actually do good trades. To do long-term trades, we need to be a little bit more patient, unfortunately, to make that, to wait for that transition to go over. Of course, there's going to be opportunities there. We took a lot of good opportunities in a fucking bear market in a way, right? And they're still holding. But we have to be cautious, unfortunately. I'm not going full on risk, no, because we're still against the trend on Bitcoin. We're not in a fully trending market yet. Okay. So that's kind of the whole thing that I will add on your so don't marry with those levels. So those levels are important, but
Mhm.
what happens when we get to those levels is the important bit, I guess.
Gotcha. two other things I'll tag on very quickly. One is the BTC dominance, just moving sideways, kind of grinding down. At the same time, we're seeing USDT, USDC increase their holdings as well. One thing that I won't even sort of guess at this morning, because sometimes when you guess, oh, that's obvious, right? But it's like, who's in charge at the moment? You know, when you talk about like the S&P and Bitcoin, you might go, oh, it's the tail that's wagging the dog at the moment. Oh no, Bitcoin's decoupled from the S&P.
Yeah.
S&P's, that's when I start to lose it a bit with the amount of outside macro sources that we can pull in. And I'm not even really, to be honest, I'm not really looking at fundamental like news the way that you do.
Mm,
Like you've mentioned Zek, I'll be honest, I haven't fucking seen that. You know, in the
mm.
30 minutes I've been awake this morning. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I have,
yeah.
and I have a bot an AI bot that helps me with all those news and things like that. Unfortunately, it's a choice for me not to even look at anything over the weekend. And that happened on Friday night. But this type of things you could actually capitalize on. Okay, let's go through what I'm seeing first. Let me just share my screen. Give me 1 second. Because could be a lot of opportunities, right? It's just which type of opportunity you're looking for. Are you looking for shorts? Are you looking for longs? And it's tough to be both at the same time. It's very tough, man. Trust me. Either you do a scalping or either you you do long term very hard, or you know what I mean? Like unless you do have a very systematic approach, then it's tough to manage both, man. But here's where I'm at. All right, let's go through Bitcoin. Let's go through Bitcoin first. So a lot of things happening. Yeah, okay. All right, you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right. So Bitcoin. Okay, Friday. Do you guys see my? Did you guys saw my video on Friday?
Yeah, I'll
So
go grab the link.
Friday, we did have an initial sort of we had that as a potential, right? And this level here is something that we raised back a while back, the 59,000 something. So 60, call it the 60. This is this kind of setup that I'm looking for, and I'm kind of getting this. All right. So this is going to be an interesting point. Why? So imagine people that went long. I did, we did talk about like, when we start losing levels, a lot of people put their stop losses, like myself. You know what I mean? Like, we actually got stopped out on under, on break, like on the break even. So this is, and we're going to get a lot of those stop outs, right? Until you get the bull run, and then the trade pays itself. That's free money from that perspective. So a lot of stop losses, especially when the market start racing right here, right? And that went through completely. There's definitely liquidity here. So what we're trying to assess is, are they buyers at these levels? So it was sort of buyers at this level here, or when on Friday. This is today's, this is Saturdays, and this is Fridays, right? And Friday just nuke, right? Completely, all the way down to 60 level. It looks like this heavy buying here, right? But we just want to assess what kind of buying it is, right? Now we still, like, if we talk about, let's talk about from the weekly perspective. So the weekly hasn't finished yet, okay? If weekly finishes here, right, then it looks, we sort of haven't broken the structure yet, right, completely. So it's actually, we actually going to close below this week right here at the 60,000 level. So that could be an interesting aspect for a bounce. But we don't know yet, right? So we're going to wait for the next probably 45 minutes to see what's going on this week. Okay. Now let's talk about the main macro of, let's define macro. And what I'm saying macro is not about S&P 500 or things like that. It's about the weekly, the whole spectrum of the weekly. We did talk about that this level here, like we have now this average, like the moving average, 200 MA. pointing down. So that target moves a little bit down. So instead of actually looking for, I was looking before for the 84,000 to actually, break, which we never got, in order to actually transition into a bullish sort of regime, call it that way, or that's when the trend gets reclaimed on the weekly. So that's moving down, and if we keep sort of averaging right that, this average is gonna keep sort of resetting that up here. So we still have a lot of time for, like, I don't see this recovering quite fast, to be honest, right? So we might be surprised. We might see that the conflict gets resolved quite quickly, and then markets resolve and they can move in quite quickly, right? But this is not a bad area to buy from that perspective. Okay, we are at this area right here, so I can see buyers piling up here, right? I'm actually tempted to buy a little bit more on Bitcoin spot. All right, and why spot? Why not leverage? Because it could get choppy, right? It could get, we can revisit the lows right here. So essentially, if you have a look at this week, let me just make this bigger. Liquidations right here. A lot of liquidations and bounce out of here. So is this going to be enough for buyers to buy this level? What I want to see, probably from the safer perspective, right? I want to see price reclaiming this area right here, the 64,000 level, right? That's like the most recent level of liquidity, give or take. That's when the price bounce became sort of like a support, and then from then on it moved on. So I want to see that price before I actually make any decisions in going long. Would you actually scalp? I think the scalping is missed in that perspective. So but it looks good for a recovery, right? I want to see a little bit more price action here before. And obviously this is the last two. This is yesterday, this is Sunday, and this is Saturday. So this is still Saturday weekend liquidity. Weekend liquidity, right? So that's kind of where I'm at. So now that I know that my level 62, 60, and the next one that I'm looking for is 60. Yeah, I will say this one right here, probably. Let me just do a line right there. Yeah, that's definitely something that I want to see. Either I want to see a lot of CBD piling up here, which it looks like it's getting there. So if we go now and look at the CBD volume, so let's define again. Do you guys understand, or for people that maybe are new, do you guys understand what the CVD is? The cumulative volume delta. This one right here, the one that I watch and I go over, because that could be and this is my definition. This is the definition that I use. It could be right, could be wrong, but that's the definition that and it made sense for me. So do you guys know what this is? What this is for real?
The CDD.
Yep. No, but I know you do. Let's see if people could you know answer. And Todd, no, you cannot answer, Todd. I know you know. So anyone else?
So what you're saying, Maurizio, is anybody that knows the answer is not allowed to answer.
Exactly. Exactly. I know Tom does. Todd definitely. Kim, thank you. Yes, retail volume. Yeah, I know, Todd, you are going to you're quick on that. So thank you as well. Okay, yeah. Kim, exactly, retail volume. So that's essentially what it is. CVD is just the difference, the delta is the difference between the buyers and the sellers. And the cumulative is, just the add-on of the last candle with the last candle with the last volume with the last volume with the last. So the sum, right? The cumulative of the last volume plus the last delta plus the last delta plus the last delta. with that being said, it sort of gives you the picture with the spot. This is a spot with the retail, and let's define retail. Retail on the spot market, right? And it's not retail; it is a spot market as a whole. So it is very telling because if you think about what happens with ETFs and things like that, so Uh, no, Donna, no, it's not Renko bars. I'm going to explain why it's completely different. So this is basically measures the volume, and the difference, the volume of the buyers and the sellers, right? Of the spot volume. And the spot volume is very important because a spot is actually what ETF buys. So every time that is an ETF purchase or fucking, what is his name? The guy from MicroStrategy, Saylor, buys Bitcoin, he doesn't use leverages. He doesn't go into the leverage market and, like you and me, and do a leverage position. They buy a spot. They buy the coins and hold it, right? And they put it in a wallet somewhere else, right? That's representative of the spot volume. Okay, so when you see an influx of a spot volume, that means they're heavy buyers buying at that level. What I mean by big whales, okay, big buyers buying and holding. Usually, the spot buying is something that you hold, that you buy and hold, and you don't sort of sell for a while, right? When you actually buy spot, when you do trading, leverage trading, like you and me, you just buy and sell. You buy a contract which is not the coin itself, right? You can't actually transfer that contract anywhere. So that's what it means in the psychology, right? So it's very telling because if it is CBD, that means they are buyers. You don't know, Kim. That's a good thing, Kim. You don't know if it's retail or institutional. You don't know, but you have a very good idea that it could be institutional. So this is kind of the first way that I see, okay, are institutions buying at this level, right? So if it institutions buying at this level, more than likely, we're going to have that level sustained. You know what I mean? It's going to be very hard to break down the 60,000 level. So that's why I see it could be it could be an interesting area to buy spot, right? You can actually see that I can start seeing a lot of buying right there, right, from the spot side. Now, you could track the ETFs. The other one to see if that's sort of the case is IBIT. So IBIT, it will give you as well an idea where ETFs buyers will be. So an IBIT at the moment is sort of it's putting the brakes at that 52,000 level. And if the whole idea, if we do get a bounce out here, yeah, definitely I'll be buying, right? So that's kind of the first assessment that I do. Yeah, all right, Kim. Yes, okay. Okay, but full benefit because I was only comparing the two open interest. Yes, all right, interesting. So now that you know, this is a completely different indicator than the open interest. So obviously we assess what's going on here to understand the price action and to understand the open interest as well. Well, I will go through the open interest in a sec, okay? But this is the first thing I look just to make sure that that level holds. So we did talk about with Ian, Ian has a level around the 69,000, give or take, let's say that, all right? So what I want to see usually, right, is once we get to a level, right, is this level supported by CBD? That's the first thing that we want to see. If buyers are still buying and not selling, more than likely we're going to have that breakout continuation, right? It could get choppy. That's when it gets tricky. That's when we use open interest as well. It could get choppy, right? So we could definitely see something like this. This keeps going up, market keeps going down, right? And then if this going up, you more than likely gonna get something like this, because the market usually, think about it. I buy here, market is doing fantastic. I put my stop loss around here, right? So even though CVD is moving up, that doesn't mean that the market could shoot. It doesn't, because if you do have a lot of pair positions, like a lot of leverage positions at this level, they are heavy, market makers that it could drive the price down, stop everybody out, right? And then the market moves along. Okay, this is the tricky bit about trading with leverage, right? But if you buy a spot, you don't care if the market does this and it keeps doing a little bit down and then rise up. If you know that that level is going to hold, you're okay with a 10% drawdown per se, right? Or you can add more a little bit here on your CVD, right? Or on your spot position. So that's the psychology of CVD, give or take. Okay, now. All right. So first assessment looks fucking good, man. I like this level. Yeah, I'm actually tempted to buy a spot. Okay, so
Maurizio, sorry to interrupt you. We're going to wrap up the call in about 12
oh
minutes.
shit. All right, I move on. All right, let's move on. So now we know that I'm looking for IBIT, right, in terms of market, but technically I do like it. So now that we know that we need now that we know how we can actually interact with Bitcoin, Bitcoin is still one of the biggest, the one that drives the market. Let's go through our positions, right, and see what happened over the weekend. So Ondo, unfortunately, we got stopped out on, so we took some profits around here, and we put the stop loss right here, and now we don't have a position on Ondo. I'm going to go long here. I'm still assessing this one to actually, because it will be a brand new trade, right? So, but I do like it, right? I still have, we still have WorldCoin. So WorldCoin is actually, man, this thing is just flying. I'm not gonna add more. I'm gonna add more once I see a little bit more confluence on Bitcoin moving upwards, right? But those are the ones that I wanted to add more. Lit, right? Lit's still on a sort of entry, so I'm still holding this one before I add more. So those,
Woo! Yeah,
yeah.
man, I've been riding the volatility in this one. It's been absolutely wonderful, really
and
wonderful. But yeah, so we're still holding, no taking of anything, and maybe we're going to add.
maybe I'm gonna add, definitely. So I'm very cautious. I'm not
He
like
wants to
there's
add.
just
The market's crashing, and this guy wants to add to the position. It makes me want to puke.
but that's kind
No,
of the
but
thing
true though,
that,
true. You've said this before, and it's not easy, is it? It's like, hang on a minute, the whole market's bearish, and now we're going
yep,
to add to a position. It
correct.
doesn't feel natural, does it?
No, it doesn't. That's why I started a position, right? But this could, like, the interesting thing is this been holding pretty well despite the market conditions, right? So market
Mm,
conditions are fucking horrible. Look at this Bitcoin dump, right?
mm.
Talking about that from Monday, right? From the beginning of June, we're talking about 20% on Bitcoin, man. That's huge, man.
Wow,
Huge,
wow.
right? Now,
So
if
really,
you
lit
go,
has shown exceptional strength if we're using Bitcoin as the marker.
exactly. So that's basically what I want to watch, which coins are retracing the list. You can actually visualize it using the spaghetti chart, or, if, let me load this. So this is kind of the best representation of the things that you want to get into, right? When market goes down and things hold, that means their buyers holding those coins. So we have Hype, of course. We have CC right here. I'm tracking CC. I haven't forgotten about the CC. We are in WorldCoin. I'm looking at VVV. Fucking VVV went out of my. But you can actually see the betas are horrible, right? But you can actually see aging. So it looks like a lot of effort has been in AI. And in terms of RWAs, you can actually see Ondo is leading, but it's not there yet. You know what I mean? That's why I don't want to add yet. Things that I want to add, definitely is the where are you here? Going back, right? Lit, I want to add, right? Hype now is on my. This is the position that I was thinking before, but hype is actually very, very strong, right? So this is on my list. Now let's talk about SEC, okay? And SEC, I'll post. Let me post this. So SEC went down, right, on since Wednesday, right? Fucking 60% down, all the way down, right? That wouldn't be a great short. I saw this candle on Thursday, right? And then news came out probably around here. Okay, so what it is? Let me just right here. I'm gonna talk about XPL as well. We did talk about that. This one. You can actually read this on your own if you want. But essentially what happened is that SEC is a privacy protocol, right? So it was a vulnerability, right? That there was a exploit that you could actually, let's say, counterfeit SEC. So you can actually print your own SEC. And because the protocol is private, no one is able to verify that. So essentially, it defeats the fucking purpose of the whole security thing. You know what I mean? And it was just a small bug that Opus 4.8 with the new model was able to pinpoint. Okay, so it's a huge, like, affects supply, affects a bunch of stuff. That wouldn't be a really great short, to be honest. This one's still a lot of because SEC was promising that it was going to be quantum resistant, and is the new Bitcoin and all the shit, man. And this is what fucking crypto is all about, right? So I cannot fucking trust anything. Don't. I only trust Bitcoin, to be honest. Anyway, so this now we're here, right? I think people still digesting what the implication of this. So I think it could get really choppy, but it could be interesting for shorts, to be honest. But the problem with this is I don't see this as a long-term opportunity like I was seeing it before, right? I was actually looking for opportunities to enter on this one. Now those that I'll something needs to shift dramatically in the team and all that sort of stuff for me to actually start looking for loans opportunities on this one. Okay, so based on that, I might be mistaken. This could recover all the way up and continuation, but the exploit is fucking horrible. Like it's a small bug and changes the whole sort of narrative of the protocol. So I'm not looking to add on this one, to be honest, unless something really happened. I'm looking to add. I'm still half ton in my I think ton will do really well when market picks up. So I'm looking forward to actually start picking up some if we actually reclaim the 1.8, that area right here. Nia is also in my watch list, right? To add. So it went ballistic, right? But I think I'm going to be focusing on adding on the winners. So Ondo, Ondo, let me just move that here because we don't have a position anymore. We have Warcoin that I want to add more. We have Lit that I want to add more, but Lit is being very, very choppy. Ondo and John, these are my favorites so far. So I think that's it, guys. There will be plenty of opportunities, especially with Warcoin. I think Warcoin is going to be a really good one. So I haven't added more. I took profits some here, but this is paying out for itself, man. Only one trade could pay out for the whole fucking year. And this could. It's interesting looking that way, but let's see if that pans out. So yeah.
Interesting, really interesting, man. So the coins that, like you said with Lit, that you were looking to add to, because these are coins that have really shown strength while Bitcoin is dumping. So I suppose that line of thinking, unless I'm getting into trader math here, if we analyze what Bitcoin's doing, And then we
Mm-hmm.
went through all of the biggest market cap coins in the market, and we separated which ones are showing strength and which ones are uh, showing weakness, be that however that actually materializes. Then could you stick your finger in the air and be like, well, there's more of these major coins that are losing strength and holding strength. So generally, I could use that as a really big bit of confluent evidence that we are more bearish than bullish. I've tried to keep that at the what it is that I'm trying to achieve rather than get in the minutia. Is that theory worth me thinking about further, or is it trader math?
Good question. Give me give me one small definition of
Mhm.
how would you use it.
So I look at Bitcoin today. I see that Bitcoin is, I've said, I think there'll be a small bounce on Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd look at the majors, and it wouldn't be which one of these is going to bounce exactly replicating Bitcoin. It would be whatever scenario that it's in, retesting a level or whatever, it's it's showing a bullish sign, right? So
Yep.
then I could be like, okay, 8 out of 10 of the majors are showing this bullish sign, and Bitcoin showing this bullish sign. So my general feeling about the market is now generally bullish.
Yeah, yeah, that I now I get it. Yes, and yes, definitely. Why? Like, and I do that sort of. You see me doing it because I go like obviously I didn't do it today, but you go Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, Solana, and if you start seeing that is influx of capital on that, guess what? There is a highly attractive area to buy crypto in general. You know what I mean? Like not only Bitcoin. So that's definitely gives you a really good um,
And then we can
look.
look under the hood to see what that momentum is. Is it weak
Exactly.
hands, the leverage stuff, or is it
Yep.
real buyers?
Yep.
Then we could go
Exactly.
a step further back and be like, okay, what's the foundational news in the last 72 hours? And then well, no, that would be coin specific, wasn't it? I was just thinking about market regime. All right, okay, I'm going to pay far more attention to comparing the majors more against because it's easy
Yeah.
to be looking at, oh, is there another fart coin? Is there this? Is there that? But
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm going
all
to
right.
answer Donna's. Donna, I do I have a lot of different agents. I've used OpenClaw, I use Hermes. I do different like I have programmed my own, so to speak, with Cloud Code as
That's not even
well.
the real
Uh,
Maurizio, it's an avatar.
yeah, Grok is great. Obviously they give you a lot of stuff from X, right? That you can actually capitalize on, and I bring all that research together and try to make sense of everything. You know what I mean? And that's something that I do manually. But yeah,
Nice,
yeah, I
nice.
use a bunch of different
If you
agents that do
wanna
different things. Yeah.
if you've got the basic Grok at $30, right? You can
Yep.
Grok is connected to Twitter, so you can say, right,
Yep.
I want to know about sentiment, who's talking about what, and you can get a basic
Yep.
starting point there. Anyway, I'm loving this, but I've got to cut it off.
All right, guys. Have a
Loving
good
it,
day.
man.
Let's see what
See
happens
ya.
this week. All right.
Cheers,
Have a good
everybody.
one.